Today we're going to be talking about feedback. Feedback, particularly in the case of interviews, which is any information sent or received by either party in an interview. Feedback can come in the form of verbal and nonverbal cues and does not always require two parties. Most people believe that feedback is a conversation going back and forth. However, this is not always the case. For example, this video that you're watching right now, you're receiving feedback from me. However, I do not receive any feedback from you because it's not a conversation, it's not an interview, there's no back and forth dialogue. Feedback in reality is not about conversation, it's about listening. That's the important key to feedback. To receive proper feedback, you must know how to properly listen. So today we're going to talk about 4 different types of listening and how they're important to both interviewers and interviewees. The first basic type of listening is listening for comprehension, and this is just what it sounds like. You have to understand what the person is talking about. You need to have clarity in an interview. To listen for comprehension, you need to listen as accurately as possible and attempt to not pass judgment on anything that is said. Some basic steps are listen attentively, be patient, listen to content and ideas, take notes, and use questions only to clarify or verify information that was given. The second type of listening is listening for empathy. Now, listening for empathy is used to communicate genuine concern about a subject and understanding. It's different from listening for sympathy, which is when you feel sorry for the individual. Empathy is when you put yourself in the foot of the individual and try to understand what they're going through. To listen for empathy, you need to show that you are genuinely interested in them. Do not interrupt them at all. Be comfortable with emotional displays and show your own emotions as well. Remain as non-judgmental as you possibly can in this situation. The third type of listening we're going to talk about today is listening for evaluation. To listen for evaluation, you must first judge what you are going to hear. This is the time when you actually do pass judgment finally. Generally, this must fall after the first 2 types of listening, which are listening for comprehension and empathy. Because you must first understand what you are talking about, and you must be able to put yourself in their shoes before you can pass any form of judgment on the topic. The steps for listening for evaluation: you must listen carefully, listen to the content of what is said, and if necessary, ask for clarifications. And the most important thing to do is avoid defensive reactions, because you are not trying to get defensive, you're not trying to put anyone in a bad situation. You just want to actually decide your opinions about the information you've received from them finally, or the feedback you've received. And the fourth type of listening is listening for resolution. And this is all about gaining new ideas and problem solving. The idea of this deals with the concept of ours as opposed to mine and yours. Essentially what this means is, instead of in a normal interview situation where there's an interviewer and an interviewee, this is the idea where all ideas come to the forefront. You want to build upon other people's ideas and continue and grow from there. To listen for resolution, you need to first encourage equal discourse. There is no interviewer or interviewee. You are equal partners in the relationship. You must trust the other parties to bring forth good ideas and to build upon those ideas. You need to focus on what is actually said and not the psychology. So this is not when you're going to be looking at mannerisms, but instead listening to their ideas and building upon them to reach a solution to a certain problem. You must focus on the present. You don't want to let any past ideas or future ideas impair your vision, and just work on what is said solely in this conversation. And ultimately, the biggest and most important thing is to build upon the ideas that are brought here. That's the importance of listening for resolution. It's coming together and it's about teamwork as opposed to having your general interviewer and interviewee situation. So these are the 4 most important types of listening, and they provide you all of the necessary tools to gain all types of feedback in any sort of interview situation. And that's why they're so important to feedback.